dull clawed pieces. Yes. Hello. What are you doing out in the middle of nowhere? Going for a walk? This one often walks. Around here, I mean. Nervous? Me? Ha! Do not make this one laugh. Hallin here is just horrible. Bandits kicked this one out of his home and stole his crops. Hallin here is just a simple farmer, you see. They will make me a starving pauper. You will help? Oh, bless you. This one planted his crops in a cavern nearby. Saint Sipilu, please, retrieve my notes and poison the water. Without proper irrigation, the plants will wither. It pains me to kill them, but these bandits must not prosper. You are a true hero, Walker. A brave and noble warrior. Falura and I are forever in your debt. Sorry, I was just... Hey! You and I have the same belt buckle. What are the chances, huh? I am sorry. This one is a nervous wreck. Hallingier is growing a rare Khajiiti herb. Very delicate and very desirable. Good for seasoning fish and soothing the humors. Satisfied? Do not worry, Walker. You can depend on Hallingier. Falura is this one's loyal farmhand. She is not very bright, and she is very lazy, always scribbling notes and asking silly questions. But I keep her on anyway. Hallingier always does right by his friends. I could, but this one likes Falura. Plus, she probably knows too much. She knows too much about my farming practices. Yes. Hallingier has many secret farming tricks, like using fish heads and guar dung for fertilizer. But this one has already said too much, yes? Sorry.
Sarah, a moment, please. You made it. Good. We have a great deal to talk about in a short period of time. In a clearing to the southeast, but that can wait. I trust you've seen what Hallengier and I were growing in there. Moon sugar. In its raw form. It's a crude narcotic, but if you refine it, it becomes something truly odious. Skooma. I had to be sure he could do it. Moon sugar is temperamental. No one's been able to grow it here in Vardenfell. Until Hallengier. I need you to take the notes you found to Captain Bethis in Seyda Neen. Tell him everything. He'll handle the rest. It's complicated. I was a member of House Redwin's Narcotics Oath Bureau. I made some very serious mistakes. If I brought this tip to Captain Bethis, he would ignore me, but he has no reason to distrust you. Please, do this for me, Sarah. I'd rather not discuss it. Suffice it to say that the skooma trade offers many dark incentives, especially for undercover officers. It's easy to cross the line. Too easy. Hopefully this arrest and seizure will help me make amends. If you'd ever taken it, you'd know. Skooma is a powerful hallucinogen. Addictive, deadly, and cheap. Lethal overdoses are routine in Morrowind. Once it's got its hooks in you, you'll do anything to get it. Steal, rape, kill, whatever. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. He's developed a method to grow vast quantities of moon sugar in Vardenfell. That's a dangerous skill. Too dangerous. Can you imagine what would happen if the Kimona Tong crime family got hold of his notes? Hallengier is no Daedric prince, but his work could be just as destructive. Please, just do the right thing.
You are kind to check up on Hallengier, but this one is fine. Again, thank you. What? How could she? Why would she do that? Hallengier is no threat to anyone. Skooma? No. Hallengier does not make skooma. My sister and cousin were both addicts. This one would never make such a thing. I only grow moon sugar, Walker. For personal use, you see. You would not ruin a life over such a thing, would you? Hey, Hallengier has huge appetites. A little sugar in the morning to start the day, a little in the evening to soothe the soul. Moon sugar is a beautiful thing, my friend. The Riddlethar's gift to all Khajiit. Is the pursuit of pleasure really so bad? Hallengier is glad you agree. This one just needs to gather his belongings, then he will be on his way.
Not now, citizen. I'm up to my armpits in problems today. Hallengier? I thought him a clueless sugar sop. If he's managed to grow moon sugar here in Vardenfell, he's more cunning than he seems. Make no mistake, we'll find him. The Tribunal thanks you for your help, Outlander. Take this as your reward. Did you need something else? A skooma baron you'd like to report, perhaps? No? Then move along. For Lura, that skooma fiend can barely put her trousers on straight, let alone conduct an investigation like this. You must be mistaken. Difficult to say. If I had my way, she'd be hanging from the nearest tree. I'll pass it on to my contacts in the Oath Bureau. I will be honest, though, her chances are very slim.
What is it?
Outlander, a word. By order of the Deputy Governor of Sedanine, which happens to be me, the lighthouse is closed until further notice. On the other hand, I seek an outlander who's willing to do a little work. I need someone without ties to the area to look into a matter for me. It seems the lighthouse was broken into. The flame was extinguished. As a result, a ship crashed along the shore. There were fewer bodies than expected, both living and dead. I suspect slavers were involved, which means they had help here in town. I find that unacceptable. Discover who doused the lamp fire. They'll lead us to the slavers. Question Delms, who was on duty that night. He's in the lighthouse. I need to check in with the Overseer. His workers are searching the wreckage, and I want to know what they've uncovered. By the time we were alerted and had organized a response, precious moments had been lost. We rescued a few, but mostly we found those who had drowned or were crushed on the rocks. Even so, it was nowhere near the numbers a ship like that carries. It was just a typical sailing ship from the mainland. I suppose it carried the usual complement of cargo and travelers eager to reach our verdant shores. I don't believe that such a vessel would make the trip without filling its holds. Damn slavers. Ever since our agreement with the Pact went into effect, slavery has been outlawed throughout most of Morrowind. But all we did was drive the slavers into the shadows. This whole stinking event has their bloody fingerprints all over it. Here, and in all of the territories controlled by the great houses that support the Ebonheart Pact. If you stray into Telvanni or Dres territory, though, the practice remains strong and vibrant. Hence my current troubles. We're just a small outpost along the Bitter Coast, but I like to think of us as the gateway to Vardenfell. From here, Vivec City and the other inland locations are easily accessible. Governor O'Melian is in charge, although I contribute as necessary.
No one's allowed up here. She asked you to... an outlander? Isn't it enough she stuck me up here to guard the flame indefinitely, but now she's looking for help outside the house guard? What else can I expect after what happened the other night? Findon sent a barrel of his finest ale for Watch Captain Bethes's birthday. Powerful stuff. One cup and we could barely keep our eyes open. The entire regiment was knocked on its collective arse. When I came to my senses, I saw that the fire had gone out. Look, once I heard the crash along the shore, it was all I could do to get moving and raise the alarm. Cherish's water loves to loiter near the lighthouse. Maybe she noticed something. If you're intent on doing your job, you should talk to her.
Anyone who has house dresses respect has mine.
Do you mind? Your dirty foot coverings are contaminating my pond. So direct you are. It makes my tongue wither and the answers dry up in my mouth. Go and bother someone else with your parching questions. No, there's no need to involve the governor's deputy or the house guard. When they start breathing down my neck, my scales shrivel right up. I did notice someone near the lighthouse that night. You keep asking the wrong question. I did not see anyone that night. I felt them. They made ripples in the water. I felt them stop by the tree that overlooks my pond. Then they moved off towards the lighthouse. Look to the tree, moist one. I prefer my waters to remain still, calm. Prying causes ripples, and ripples lead to more dry questions. Would you be so kind as to move along? You're disrupting the current. Talk of gods makes my scales itch. If the living gods really cared, they wouldn't make me suffer. Now take your religious foolishness and peddle it someplace else.
What is it?
Did you need something else? A skooma baron you'd like to report, perhaps? No? Really, Outlander, it's commendable that you're trying to learn our ways, but the words of the tribunal just sound silly when you say them like that. I suggest you stick to sightseeing and leave the religion to us.
An Outlander. I can never seem to get enough of your kind here. You're welcome in Vardenfell, of course. Just obey the laws and refrain from causing trouble, and you'll get along just fine. What? What did you say? I suggest you leave now before I set the guards upon you.
Despite all the excitement around the recent shipwreck, I'm in here, guarding the governor's office. I suppose someone might want to steal a quill or a stack of parchment, but still, my talents are clearly being wasted. Word of advice, don't mention anything about the tribunal to the governor. He's not happy with some recent rules and regulations that have come down from on high.
You're an adventurer, aren't you? I knew it. What an exciting life you must lead. You absolutely need to tell me all about it. Are you free later? I can meet you after the shop closes for the day. That's a good one! That tribunal nonsense is almost as funny as some of the things I heard in Rothgar. Say, if you want to get together later, I know a couple of body stories that I'd love to share.
Today's selections got a little charred and I forgot to add spices. Plus I grabbed my scale lotion instead of the butter. That's something to do with the tribunal, isn't it? I'm sorry, but I really try not to pay too much attention to the dark elves and their strange religion.
Welcome to our shop. Feel free to look around. Keep it down. We don't want to attract undue attention. But what happened? I thought I was supposed to go to the drop. You didn't come all this way just to give me my reward, did you? Already? Let me see. Oh, it's beautiful. I love working for the tribunal. It's so much better than trying to earn a living as a thief in Vivek City. But where's your helmet? I've never seen an ordinator out of uniform before. Oh, right. We're not supposed to talk about ordinators in the tribunal in such a public place. But it feels good to be doing holy work for a change. And such a simple task, snuffing out the lighthouse flame. I mean, Omsithi is the ending of words.
Unfortunately, the wreck of the vessel provided no additional clues. Were you able to discover anything during your investigation? The young woman who works with the grocer. I doubt the tribunal would ask her to do something so reckless. Do you have any proof other than her word? This is disturbing. This parchment feels just like the sheets that Governor O'Melian special orders from High Rock. I'm going to need you to acquire another sample from the governor's office. It's the only way to be certain. Not if I don't want him to know I suspect that he's working with the slavers, or the tribunal, though I still consider that to be some sort of fabrication. No, if I alert him too soon, he'll just cover his tracks. Not the office. He keeps it in his private quarters, accessed through the guardhouse. But I'd never suggest that you sneak into his quarters and steal a blank sheet of his special parchment. That would be against the law. Do you understand me?
What do you want?
Ah, our special customer. Is there something I can do for you? And Omsithi is the ending of words. I'm yours to command. That's an odd request. But who am I to question the tribunal? I can reach the governor's quarters through the guardhouse, but I'll need someone to distract the guards. That's perfect. Go and cause a distraction and I'll get you a sheet of parchment. I'll meet you by the tree next to the lighthouse docks when I've accomplished the task.
the deputy governor's errand runner. Now what? And what does the deputy governor want to blame me for this time? The governor needed me here. Remind Salvi that he's still in charge here, and he trusts me. She should consider that as she conducts this netch hunt of hers. You do that. Now move along before I arrest you for loitering and bothering a house guard.
Almsivi is the ending of words. I forgot how much I enjoyed thieving arts. Sneaking into the governor's private quarters brought back fond memories. Not only did I get a sheet of the government's fancy parchment, I saw an unfinished report that seemed important. It proclaimed that there wasn't any slaver activity at Firemouth Island and the patrols were better off moving farther up the coast. Leave Vardenfell? If you think that's for the best. Let's see. I know, I'll go to Mournhold. I've always wanted to see the Tribunal Temple. What an excellent idea. Almsivi is the ending of words.
Back again. So tell me, you didn't do anything unlawful now, did you? That's odd. We haven't done a search of Firemoth Island since Governor Emelian declared that the House Guard was better used patrolling farther up the coast. And these parchment sheets definitely match. This is very disturbing. What I think doesn't matter. We need evidence. But we also need to launch a rescue. Slavery is illegal in Pact territory. It's time to visit Firemoth Island. Hopefully, somewhere along the way we'll find more proof of Governor Emelian's ties to all of this. Attack before the soldiers have been assembled? That's not a prudent course of action. We need to muster our forces, make plans and contingencies, unlock the armory. What was that? That's a distress signal, and it came from Firemoth Island. No time to prepare. We have to rescue the slavers' prisoners. Soldiers, to the ships! We sail for Firemoth Island!
Did you see his new bow? That must have cost him.
Set it to
Free at last. My thanks. You arrived in the nick of time.
Like it!
I thought I was done for.
eternal thanks.
Someone attacked the governor. This guard will live. Did you find anything important on Firemoth Island? So the governor hoped to use the Morag Tong to cover his tracks, but this note just adds to the evidence you've already uncovered. Well done. You have provided a great service to Sedanine. I'll take it from here.
Deputy Governor.
Sergeant, where's Governor Emelian? What happened here?
The governor struck me from behind and fled.
The governor seeks to escape justice. After it!
I can't believe Lord Vivek wouldn't see worshippers today.
He's a living god. might think.
Oh, it's you.
Did Arshel send you to check up on me? I swear, the next person that treats me like a child is going to find my dagger in their stomach. Gods, I'm not mad at you. I'm just annoyed at everybody right now. No, I don't think so. It's just been difficult. Finding poor Ulran in the Ashlander camp. I need to be doing something. Sitting down here in the dark, hiding, that's not going to solve anything. I know, but Nariu's writ. It involves a Redoran counselor. Exactly the opportunity I've been waiting for. The counselor knows who set up my brother. We need to talk to her before Nariu executes the writ. Do this for me, and I promise to stay here. Well, Nariu wouldn't tell me any specifics, but she trained me well. It wasn't hard to sneak a glance at the writ before she took off. Her target's at Arenum Manor, out in the swamp. Not far from that smelly cave, actually. I appreciate you agreeing to see what you can learn at Arenum Manor. My father used to say it was used by counselors as a retreat, but Mother always told me it was where they conducted business that required a certain degree of privacy. That's all I've been doing, thinking. And I think Ulran was right. I think someone wanted him out of the way, and they orchestrated the event with the Ashlanders to do it. Someone played my brother for a fool, and it cost him his life. Brivon's as stubborn as my father when it comes to following the rules and regulations of House Redoran. Ulran and Brivon were best friends, even if they argued from time to time. Politics, foreign relations, the Ashlanders, you name an issue, and Ulran and Brivon were probably on opposite sides of the argument. It got to the point where I had to ignore both of them or they'd drive me insane. You did? How did he take it? I mean, he didn't know that my brother was dead. Really? I suppose that makes sense. I think he loves us, in his own way. But what else did he say? Did he know that Ulran had been banished? He didn't expect... My father doesn't know his children as well as he thinks. Either of them. That's why I had to get away. Join the Morag Tong. At least Nariu understands me. Mostly. I can't agree to that. I need to figure out what happened to my brother, who was involved, and then I'm going to make them pay. Just you watch.
That was a brave deed, rescuing Sandra.
I expected you hours ago, hero. It's not the lie. I was wondering how long it was going to take there to convince you to follow me. But she thought I didn't notice when she glanced at my writ, didn't she? Where is my overly curious apprentice, by the way?
I know Vea wants answers, but this is my job. There are rules, especially where the lords of the great houses are concerned. There might be a way to deal with this, though, provided you're willing to help. First, don't kill any Redrons. That's a violation of my writ and could have serious consequences for both of us. Second, you sneak around and search for anything that pertains to Ulron's exile while I figure out how to deal with the Counselor. We need to be invisible. These things work best when no one but the target knows we're there. If you get spotted, you're on your own. I even cough on anyone without a writ, and the Morag Tong will have my head. It's unusual, but not unheard of. True, most writs taken out against the houses target low to mid-ranking officials. The Grand Master is cautious when it comes to accepting such a high-profile writ. Apparently, though, this target has been very bad. Councillor Dovera has been conspiring with House Drez to promote the slave trade and avoid scrutiny by Redrin and Pact officials. She played a dangerous but profitable game, and her coffers were overflowing, until someone noticed. I'm not privy to the laborious investigations that took place. In cases like these, though, the target usually becomes complacent and lets her guard down. She made a mess. Now I get to clean it up, for the good of Dunmer society. That's the question, isn't it? It nags at us the way the torchbug nags at the brave little scrib in those children's stories. Once we discover who Ulron's torchbug is, we'll have a clearer understanding of why they set him up and why he had to die. I'm not saying that. Accidents happen. But they certainly made sure Ulron was in the wrong place at the wrong time, both in Balmora and again in the Ashlander camp. In addition to whatever you can find here, we should also talk to Captain Briven. Briven's name keeps coming up. At the very least, he was Ulron's best friend once. He might be able to shed some light on Ulron and what happened to cause his exile. And I really want to know what took place after Ulron left us that message. Bea's my apprentice, and I'll decide when she's ready to take on a mission. She's been through a lot, and her actions reflect on me and my status in the Morag Tong. She may not appreciate it right now, but I'm trying to keep the both of us on track. That's how it works. Her actions are my actions. Vea goes out and executes 3 writs. I share the credit and get praised for training my apprentice. On the other hand, if she kills someone without a writ, the Morag Tong takes both our heads. There have to be. My order came this close to being eliminated. It's only recently that we've started to make a comeback, and only in Dunmer territory. If we can't control the actions of our members, we'll be hunted down and destroyed for sure. Go around killing Redrin soldiers. My reputation's on the line here. The front door's guarded like a bank vault. Maybe there's another way into the buildings by the docks. you can find pertaining to Ulran. I've got a dagger and a writ with Councillor Dolvara's name on them. So House Redoran issued an advisory against the Morag Tong? Fat lot of good that's going to do the Councillor.
Save me!
If we don't find anything, maybe we can ask for an invitation to the upcoming council meeting. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer our questions. Damn the luck. I was hoping for a quick... So Councillor Dolvara does know something about Vea's brother. Damn it all. Now I suppose you want to actually talk to her before I execute the walking pile of pond scum. Of course we do. I specifically waited for you to arrive because I figured that would be the case. Still doesn't mean I'm happy about blurring the line between helping Vea and performing my duty as a Morag Tong. We discovered that the next meeting of the High Council will take place at the consulate outside Balmra. The war clause and the Ashlander abuse aren't completely sanctioned by the House, and Dolvara was present when Ulran was exiled. Not a bad haul. That means we have to get Dolvara to spill her guts before I spill her guts. Just keep your wits about you, hero. Dolvara wields her feminine charms the way I wield my daggers. Don't let her seduce you into doing something stupid before I end her. Be quick with your questions, hero. When I slip in, so do my daggers.
Ah, you must be here about those pesky patrol schedules. After all that clandestine correspondence, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. Now, come closer so we can celebrate our partnership in a proper fashion. Well, look at you. I'm impressed. The last person House Drez sent over was so much more scruffy. I have a meeting with House Halalu shortly, but I think I can spare a few more moments for you to seal our partnership, you understand. The noble's banished son? Why does House Drez care about that? Never mind. Anything so we can get to the good stuff. Ulran was tested and found wanting. Chose the life of a savage over his own soldier. We stripped him of his rank and exiled him. Ulran's dead? I hadn't heard. As to who was behind the test of Ulran's loyalty, what does that matter? He failed and paid the price for his poor choices. What does all this have to do with our arrangement?
You aren't clever enough or pretty enough to avoid what's about to happen, Dolvra.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you people?
I'm a Morag Tong with a writ that says you're a criminal and a traitor. That means I get to end your miserable existence.
You do not want to
Take
get on
another
my
look around, hero, and see if you can find anything else related to Alakir massage oils? Fancy. But that has nothing to do with all. More proof that Dolvra was in bed with both House Halalu and House Drez.
We should throw dice for gold. Interested?
That's Captain Briven's seal. I suppose our evil counselor courted favor wherever she could find it. The good Captain Briven appears to be more involved in Ulron's fate than I had imagined. He never struck me as the type to use murder and deceit to get ahead, but that's the problem with greed. It causes decent people to make stupid choices. Or he's trying to hide something. The letter mentioned an intact squad sent to scout the old fort. You need to get out there and see what those soldiers know before Briven gives them new orders and they disappear. If you can slip into town, sure, they should be told. But you didn't take my advice. You killed veteran soldiers. That's your trouble to deal with. I need to present my completed writ, so I'll catch up with you in Vale later.
Back again? Took your sweet time. You didn't learn anything, did you? Not that it matters. Oran's dead and nothing can change that. What good is that going to do? They won't speak to us. House before family and all that. Believe me, I'm more than familiar with Redoran honor. Still, I suppose I know a few ways to get people to talk. More rules. I thought we were beyond those kinds of limitations. Look, I need to figure out who's responsible for Oren's death. House councillors, Redoran soldiers, Ashlanders, whoever it is, they need to pay. Riven was Oren's best friend. Would he really betray my brother? Regardless, I want you to have this. You could have handed me to my father, and you didn't. Other than Naryu and Asher, you might be the only friend I have left. So which soldiers are we talking about? I know most of the people my brother used to work with. Eyewitnesses are better than notes in the house registry, provided I can actually get them to talk to me. There's no time to waste. That fort's near the cave where I was hiding. Last time I was there, the fort was crawling with cultists. We need to find them before Vatala and his soldiers wind up sacrificed to some Daedric prince. We'll get Vatala and his soldiers killed. I know the process. Turning in a writ can take hours, maybe even an entire day. I'll leave Naryu a note. She can meet us at the fort. I'm going. Either come with me or get out of my way. Let me gather my gear and write a note for Naryu. I'll meet you near the Hlormaran stronghold. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that we'll learn who's responsible for Oran's death soon. Then blood will flow. As far as I'm concerned, rules got my brother killed. They don't apply to me anymore. Besides, to find the soldiers, we're probably going to have to carve a path through those cultists. The Morag Tong won't care about that. That's what the handbook says. Look, I know what Naryu's done for me. To keep me safe, I appreciate that. But this is about what they did to my brother. Nothing else matters. Not Naryu, not you, and certainly not me. No, never. You and Naryu aren't my enemies. I just need to get justice for Oran. Otherwise his death will be the first of many. We have to be able to resist laws that make no sense or get people hurt without being afraid of getting exiled. I know Vatala. He's a typical Redoran soldier, loyal to a fault, always spouting nonsense about house and honor above all. He was devoted to my brother, though. Oran considered him to be one of his best. Oran had a habit of putting the needs of others ahead of his own. He probably told Vatala and his soldiers to remain quiet, decided to take responsibility and save them any heartache. I hope these soldiers remember that when we find them.